Hi everybody, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and update 1.20.1 is coming to the common test server, and it's looking like it's going to be the biggest update in World of Tanks history. In today's video I'm going to be breaking down exactly what is going to be happening to the game very soon, whether we like it or not, and whether it's going to be good for the game or not. There are so many different things to cover here that in today's video I will be giving an initial reaction to all of the announced changes and then following it up with subsequent videos over the upcoming weeks detailing more in-depth analysis. So without further ado, let's watch Wargaming's video on the 1.20.1 test server. And just to remind you all, if you want to watch this video without my terrible commentary, please go and watch it on the official channel.
A new branch, new perks, Onslaught, the World of Tanks Plus subscription, collections, Recon mission with brand new system of random events and dynamic cover in battle. All this in update 1.20.1.
Why 1.20.1? All of these features make it seem as if, you know, this is going to be the biggest update arguably in World of Tanks history, and it's all just getting thrown in a single patch. Any one of these features you think that they would put in and give us maybe a couple of months to test it out, see if it's any good, but no, they're doing everything all at once, which is kind of terrifying.
Join the common test. You'll be able to be among the first to see everything we'll be talking about now for yourself.
So much to see and to cover in this. It's absolutely outrageous.
Meet the Japanese tank destroyers.
Yeah, a whole new tech
These
tree.
heavy TDs don't need concealment. That's because, in addition to their rugged shapes, they have thick armor and powerful naval guns.
I honestly thought that we'd be seeing the Japanese tank destroyers much later in the year. But here they are. Immediately after we get the Carriers, the premium, we're going to get a whole tech tree of vehicles going in the same patch.
From Tier 5 through Tier 7, versatile vehicles built on the chassis
And look at that one with a rounded top of the turret. Kind of looks like an artillery.
of medium and heavy tanks will await you. The Tier 8 vehicle has 2 top guns of different calibers to choose from.
Nice, I like variety.
Same for the Tier 9 vehicle.
Okay.
Big damage or better accuracy. It's up to you.
Well, let's take a look to just how big we're talking about. The Tier 10 Ho-Ri 3 gets 700 alpha damage, so it's not quite as big as the Gorilla, but boy, it gets some decent standard pen at 305. And the damage per minute as well at 2,745 is impressive when we take into account that the Gorilla has 2,500. Again, stay tuned to the channel. I'll be giving you a full tank review of the Tier 10 to let you know whether it's going to be Ho-Ri excellent.
At the top of the food chain sits the Ho-Ri 3.
It does look like the combination of
Its
a
look
Jagdpanzer
and
E100
gameplay
and
resemble the Jagdpanzer E100, but with a smaller caliber.
the smaller caliber.
The 149
alpha.
millimeter gun combines devastating damage per shot, excellent penetration,
It
and
does,
good for this
305.
caliber gun handling. Additionally, its armor will let you realize the gun's potential not only while hiding in bushes. An enjoyable hunt awaits you with the Ho-Ri branch.
If it's anything like the Tier 8 Premium, it's going to be all about trying to use your gun depression to make your superstructure strong and to angle that upper hull armor. And if you do that, this vehicle's quite intimidating, especially when we consider the Tier 8 so powerful in a top tier matchup, and the Tier 10's always going to be top tier.
And to make sure that all these new tanks can easily fit in your garage, slots can now...
Wow, that's a really cool change, Wargaming. I love it. 250,000 credits to be able to buy a garage slot instead of gold. That's fantastic for all of you free-to-play players out there. Thumbs up from me, Wargaming. Great change.
now be purchased for credits. The second big new feature is a crew perk rework. Now, every perk works immediately, even if...
Okay, I like that change. The fact that every perk will work immediately is great. It's really annoying to have to wait until you get 100% Brothers in Arms and you get like 0 benefit, 0 benefit, 0 benefit, and then 5% benefit. That's too big of a step, and it has these like big swings on your crew.
Only one tanker has trained it to 1%. The effect will be minimal, but it will get stronger with further training.
That's a cool change.
So
I like
Brothers in Arms will always be useful.
And other perks
The
will always
major
be useful.
qualification now affects all perks, boosting their effect.
Interesting. So when they say major qualification, that is your raw skill. So the commander will add 10% and it will also mean that things like a premium consumable and vents will also further impact perks, which will be very strong.
This means food consumables and improved ventilation will make all perks a bit
You know me, I love my vents. They're getting even better.
more effective. And as a pleasant bonus, crew members won't receive a penalty to XP when they're injured at the end of battle.
That was a little known thing, that you actually lost crew experience if your crew were injured. So quite often I'd use like a small med kit before the end of the battle, even if I didn't have to use it just to be able to get that extra XP.
Many old perks were updated and reworked. And pay attention to some previously unpopular ones.
Honestly, this is going to possibly break the game. More on it in an upcoming video. I do not have time to talk about it in this one without this video being about 3 hours long. This is damaging and devastating stuff, and Wargaming, you are stupid and ignorant for putting this into the game in the form that it is, for many reasons that I'll be covering in a subsequent video.
They've received new features. Firefighting is now the radio operator's perk, so you won't have to train it for all crew members. For other
That's nice, because firefighting was probably one of the last things you took, unless you're a premium consumable user and you didn't take fire extinguishing. The fact that it'll be on the radio operator is nice.
crew members, this perk will be reset, and XP will be returned for redistribution. Also, many new perks were added. Discover their effects and create.
Discover their effects. Let's talk about practicality, aka mandatory. Reduces the cooldown time of your consumables by 15%. I mean, you need that. You want to use your repair kit earlier, right? Quick aiming, 2.5% better aim time. Mandatory. Concentration reduces the dispersion of a vehicle when fully trained by 2.5%. That is 2.5% accuracy. That is the equivalent of half an extra equipment slot on your tank purely from having one crew skill. Mandatory. Engineer. You want to have 5% engine power and be able to go 1 kilometer an hour faster forwards? Yeah, I think you really do. That is game-changing for every vehicle, let alone the slow ones like a mouse. A mouse is literally going to be able to go about 3 or 4% faster now if it has that skill. And every single vehicle in the game pretty much benefits from the engine power increase. That's a mandatory skill that you're going to have on every vehicle or you're not going to be competitive. Shield tuning increases the lower threshold of damage dispersion and armor penetration by 2%. So that means that if you have like 400 alpha, you will no longer be able to roll for 300. Your new minimum roll is going to be 308, which actually means that overall your damage per minute will increase by 1% on your vehicle. Mandatory to have that. Close quarters. Well, when you're within 50 meters of an enemy, you're going to have 2.5% extra rate of fire on your gun. Mandatory to have. Guerrilla increases the concealment after you fire by 10%. Imagine that on an E25. I really don't want to think about imagining that on an E25. And it also just increases your camo rating when you're behind vegetation by 2%. Mandatory to have on a lot of vehicles. And jamming as well, when fully trained, reduces the time that your vehicle is visible by the enemy by 1 second. Mandatory to have. That will mean that you're able to come back out into that bush quicker or change your direction of travel quicker. These are all non-optional things, Wargaming. These are things that we're going to have, and for everybody who doesn't have 8 skill crews, you are going to get screwed by Wargaming in the upcoming patch. But again, wait for my video on it to explain
the crew of your dreams.
Crew of your
easier
dreams.
For you to figure everything out.
How'd you get the crew of your dreams? You get the crew of your dreams over 10 years of grinding your butt off or getting your wallet out and throwing like $1,000 at Wargaming per crew that you have inside the game.
If you conditionally divide perks into 3 categories: group perks, perks for 1 crew member, and perks with a situational effect. Bonuses for the latter don't work all the time, only when specific requirements in battle are met. Perks with a situational effect have their own combat interface.
So this is nice. So in the game now, you will actually see when Jack of all trades is active because you have a dead crew member, or you will see when Adrenaline Rush is active because I guess you're below 10% of your hit points, or when you get within 50 meters of an enemy.
This way, you'll be able to see when a particular perk activates. You can disable or enable this option in the game settings.
I have to admit, for a lot of people, it will be a lot of clutter. You don't want to have like 10 pop-ups going on constantly while you're in the thick of the action. But the fact that you can disable it means that for players like that, you're not going to have to worry about it.
To make perks transparent and clear, players will be better informed about how perks affect vehicle characteristics.
This is nice. I like Wargaming putting information in the garage so that we don't have to go on to websites to be able to find it out or just guess as to what's happening.
In the characteristics window, perk descriptions and tooltips were also improved. You can learn more about new perks in the dedicated article on our website. Upon entering the game, you'll get 12 retraining orders for free.
Wargaming are going to give us 12 retraining orders. When they've just completely changed the crew system, they are going to give you 12 retraining orders. I have 700 different tanks, of which there's on average 4 crew members on each vehicle. I need about 2,800 retraining orders. Thank you very much, Wargaming. 12 is really not going to cut it. And Wargaming know perfectly well that you are going to have to spend hundreds, if not thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of gold retraining all of your crews to be able to assign the new skills, which many of them are completely mandatory to have. And it's an absolute joke that Wargaming are not going to reset all of your skills for free if you choose to. Wargaming, listen to me. If you give us 12 kits when we need thousands of them, many of us need thousands of them, you are just almost taking a big dump on us. Seriously. What are you doing? Are you that stupid, greedy, and ignorant that you want us to really just have to pay you thousands of gold for a system that no one really asked for you to change? It's just ludicrous. At the very least, Wargaming, create a grace period for 6 months where all retraining is discounted by 100% and you can retrain all of your crews for free in your own time. Because the last thing that people want to do is when they log into the game is to have to click a million times. But maybe you'll do like 1 crew a day. Maybe you'll do 5 crews a day. Something like that. Give us, for the rest of 2023, free skill resets at a bare minimum for this awful system that you are implementing into your game.
Experiment with them. Gather yourself a crew.
Experiment with what? The 12 free resets you give us when we need 2,000, you complete pillocks.
And share your feedback.
Garbage. Absolute garbage.
The comprehensive improvement of role skills and unique customization awaits you in the next Onslaught launch. There will be a number of small improvements that players asked for during the previous launch. The main change that will be tested, and that's
the main change is that Wargaming are going to increase the hit points of every single vehicle by 25%. So what this basically means is that the heavy tanks, which were already dominant in Onslaught, are going to be more dominant. Look at it like this. You have a T100 LT. A T100 LT has about 1,600 hit points. With a 25% hit point increase, a T100 LT is now going to have 2,000 hit points. But let's think about something like a mouse, for example. It's got 3,500 hit points, which now means that a mouse is going to have 4,375 hit points. Wargaming think that this is going to be some modification that makes the battles last longer because they're not increasing damage per minute, but they're increasing the hit points of all of the tanks. It's the most ham-fisted way of trying to do that. All that this is going to do is mean that you have to take a durability device on all of your vehicles, and because it's getting buffed by 25%, and it will be compound for the amount of hit points that you get on your tank. And what this also means is that the classes that needed help, aka light tanks, tank destroyers, and artillery, all classes which have the lowest amount of hit points, are going to be screwed because their hit points are not going to increase by the same raw amount as the heavy tanks, which have a huge health point pool. Wargaming, it's just like you don't think with things like this. Just
worth checking out is modifiers. They will
if they really wanted to make the game last longer, they could have just lowered damage per minute. But if they lower damage per minute, it's going to have the same effect where everybody's hit points are going to be increased effectively. You can't make a ham-fisted change like this without also thinking about other classes inside the game.
Change certain vehicle characteristics only in Onslaught, and, together with the reworked role skills, will diversify vehicle selection and game...
No, they won't. No, they won't. No, they won't. Heavies, 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 heavies. Let's just all go in and play the same bloody tank class and just completely crippling the competitive version of the game. They had ranked, they made it worse, and they made it worse, and they made it worse. And now with Onslaught, they've made it even worse. So congratulations to you, Wargaming.
Play tactics. Your participation in Onslaught during the common test will help us understand whether these new features should be kept in the future.
Why can't you figure that out? You're asking for us to go and play hundreds of battles to test like a theory that you have. You don't need to test it. All it's going to do is meta becomes even more meta. Wargaming, please understand that the reason why people like your game is the diversity and the fact that you can pick a lot of different tanks and play your way. All this does is it screws over the tank destroyer players, it screws over the artillery, it screws over the light tank players, and it just forces people to play heavy tanks or some of the more durable mediums. Oh, by the way, Wargaming brushed over this. They're basically taking away like all of the rewards of Onslaught as well. So all you're going to get is some cosmetics and some very small amounts of premium time and some small amounts of bonds as well. So all of those lovely rewards that we used to have in ranked, like we got gold for participating it, amongst a wide variety of other things, are going to be pretty much butchered in this upcoming season. So it's going to be the least rewarding version of ranked of all time.
Collections are where all your exterior elements will be gathered in the Battle Pass seasons. For completing the collection of the currently active season, you'll get additional Battle Pass tokens.
This is the big one. The big one is that you can get 3 Battle Pass tokens for completing the collection. And that will enable you to be able to get the new tanks if you have been saving your tokens from the Battle Pass. That's really the only interesting thing, at least in my opinion, from the collection system, is it's further encouraging people to make sure they complete the Battle Pass to be able to get the bonus tokens.
Up to 3 in one season. You'll also gain access to secret materials that will better develop this season's characters. You don't need to perform any additional action to fill in the collection. Just progress through the season and collect customization elements along the way.
Okay. That's possibly the least exciting thing. Now, this is crazy. This is crazy. Look at this. WoT Plus subscription, new vehicle, gold, and much more. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, premium is no longer World of Tanks Premium. There's going to be World of Tanks standard account, World of Tanks Premium account, and World of Tanks Premium account and World of Tanks Plus account. Amazing.
During the common test, you can also check out the benefits of our new subscription plan, World of Tanks Plus.
Wow.
A monthly subscription unlocks...
Wow, look at the things it does. An exclusive vehicle, a gold reserve, an intensive crew regimen. I think that's meant to be regime wargaming. Excluded map and free equipment demounting. Oh my lord.
Access to these many advantages. A gold reserve stock that works just like the reserve stock for credits, but rewards you with up to 500 gold every week.
Wow, you can get 500 gold every week from a WoT Plus account. Well, that's amazing. Over the course of a year, that's going to be like 25,000 gold. What this really does, though, is it means that all of those auctions that Wargaming have been having recently, where you see the numbers going higher and higher and higher, it's going to go higher and higher and higher still. If you expect to be able to get like a tier 9 premium tank for 15,000 gold now, expect it to be more like 20,000 gold, as people will be just hoarding their gold as they go through with their WoT Plus. So it's going to be even harder for a free-to-play player to compete in those auctions.
One additional slot for map exclusion. Together.
Wow, so you're going to be able to ban 3 maps now instead of 2 because you've got
With World of Tanks Premium account, you'll have 3 exclusion slots.
I mean, that's a tremendous advantage, especially if you're trying to, say, grind for an ace tanker or a third mark or on a specific tank. Now you're going to be able to maybe ban like Himmelsdorf, Ensk, and Paris on a light tank, or if you're playing on a heavy tank, Prokhorovka, Malinovka, and maybe Muravanka to be able to get rid of all of those. That's a tremendous advantage.
Free equipment demounting, including improved equipment, doesn't work for experimental...
No way. You are kidding me. Wow. So if you pay Wargaming, the cost of this is going to be €8 a month. You are going to be able to demount your Bond equipment for free. Well, when I say for free, as long as you still pay Wargaming the €8. This has so many issues with regards to balance and micromanagement in the game. I don't know about you, but I'm the kind of player who plays a wide variety of tanks. Does Wargaming really want me to go and demount all of my Bond equipment before a session to then put it on all of the vehicles that I'm actively playing? What this also means now for a lot of you out there who want to be very competitive and get the best statistics inside a tank, or maybe you're trying to grind for your third mark of excellence, is that now the statistics are going to go higher. Because the more competitive players will demount all of their Bond equipment from their WoT Plus subscription, and they will put them on the tanks that they're grinding. Either that they're just grinding through to be able to get the next tank, or maybe they're grinding the field mods, or maybe they're grinding to be able to get their third mark of excellence. So now, really, the standard is going to be Bond equipment on every single vehicle that you are playing. And really, if you have WoT Plus and you don't demount all of your Bond equipment and then put it on the tank, then you're kind of just screwing yourself over. And I'll be very interested to see whether a modification like XVM automatically demounts and remounts equipment with a WoT Plus subscription. That is a very hot modification. If somebody can make that, one that automatically demounts and remounts Bond equipment, that would be outrageous.
Improved equipment doesn't work for experimental equipment of level 2.
Okay, so it doesn't work for experimental equipment, but it works for that Bond equipment, which, let's be honest, is probably the best in the game right now.
And 3. The opportunity to train one selected crew without even entering the game.
What?
Just a few clicks, and the entire crew will get additional XP for the duration of the subscription.
What? Okay, I'll have to explore this. Okay, so Wargaming aren't kidding. If you have WoT Plus, then that means that your crew will get 40 experience every 5 minutes. So 40 times by 12, that means you're going to get 480 per hour. Times by 24, that's 11,000 experience on a crew every single day. Now, that's not the biggest of deals, but this is still a tremendous advantage for players out there who either want to try and quickly get brothers in arms on a tank before they even bother to start playing it, or maybe just the players out there who know that they play World of Tanks 365 days a year. That is going to be 4 million crew training that you will be able to put on a crew. And when you combine this with the fact that Wargaming are now making more crew skills mandatory than ever, you can see why they're putting this in the game, right, boys and girls? They just want all of the high-paying customers to become super players who are better than everyone else, not because they play better, but because they pay better. Oh, it's just so outrageously triggering for me.
The bonus can be switched between tanks without limitation. And the Rental Tier 8 Premium TS-54 tank.
Wow.
Gun depression, armor, and 2 guns are to your service.
Fantastic. Let's check it out. So it's going to be the first American double-barrel tank. Decent damage per minute. Okay alpha damage. Okay penetration. Definitely not the best there. I do like the gun depression of 8 degrees. Good gun handling means you don't really need vert stabs. Enough view range to mean that you don't need coated optics. What about the armor on this thing? Is the armor any good? Wow, when you're using your 8 degrees of gun depression, that looks pretty terrifying, even against gold rounds. Has no real weak point on top when it is using its gun depression as well, and it's going to be an absolute beast inside a nice matchup. So this thing looks pretty terrifying, and it will be one of the exclusive vehicles for everyone who will not only just have a premium account, but people who are going to pay Wargaming €8 a month.
Playing it, you'll enjoy earning credits and training American crews.
Crazy. Recon mission, huh?
And finally, a new feature that you might have often seen, but now you'll actually be able to get your hands on it. In Recon Mission, you can check out maps that change right in the heat of battle. Random events will happen on several maps, be it a plane crash, a shipwreck, or a train arrival.
So I'm interested as to why Wargaming are doing this. Are they doing it to just make the game seem more exciting? Are they doing this to try and stop camping later on in the battle? So, for example, maybe on Prokhorovka, they're going to have planes crash that will allow there to be more cover that then the heavy tanks can advance through if the light tanks haven't managed to be able to win the battle early. I'm going to do some serious testing on the test server to let you know all of this as quickly as possible.
Every event changes the situation on the map,
Bye
blocks
bye
the lines
bridge.
of fire, and unlocks new tactics. For example, you'll be able to safely roll to places where you'd be previously caught in the crossfire. This will diversify the game, even for veteran players who've seen everything.
Really, all it's going to do is just create like a new meta for how the map is played. Maybe everyone's going to sit there and wait until the plane crashes, and then they're going to start to play after that.
Not long before the event starts, the impact zone appears red and a timer will pop up so that you can leave.
How many players are going to hopefully not accidentally block their allies? Hopefully people are going to be considerate, right?
The area safely. Otherwise, your vehicle will be destroyed.
Fun.
Also, you can now find dynamic cover on the maps. You can move
Crazy.
it. For example, you can cover your tank's hull with a concrete block and push it forward, breaking through the enemy defense. But be careful.
So basically, like, hull down monsters become even better now. As long as you hide your lower plate and just use the concrete blocks to advance into positions that otherwise you couldn't do so. Although I do like this feature, and that is that it looks like the cover will be destructible.
Several shots can destroy such cover. You can learn more about these new features from the article on our website. Random events and dynamic cover not only look spectacular, but they also create new opportunities. In the future...
What was that? You're going to be able to drive through the streets of Runeberg? Oh my lord. That's crazy.
Advantage will be on the side of those who put these opportunities to good use now.
People who put those opportunities to good use now. That's crazy that they're going to mix it up that much. I wonder whether the timings are going to be random, or if there's like a countdown timer, or if it's just going to be like knowing when the bomber comes in and blows a hole in Runeberg so you can be able to advance through. Crazy.
In Recon mission during the Common Test 1.20.1. Unlock new tactics, train crew perks, try the Japanese tank destroyers in Onslaught, Recon mission, random battles, and look up from time to time.
Okay, so there's a lot of good things here and there's a lot of bad things here. Firstly, if there was just no crew changes going in place of this, it looked like a pretty okay patch. However, like, did we really need to have a World of Tanks Plus subscription? Were we not spending enough wargaming? Do you also want all of us to now pony up €8.1 to be able to have, frankly, some mandatory advantages like banning an extra map, getting 500 gold a week, demounting your bond equipment for free and putting on all of the vehicles that you're grinding? These are not just like little advantages. These are huge big swings in the gameplay. It now means that whenever you play Onslaught, somebody who has WoT Plus is always going to have bond equipment when they play against you. Whereas previously, they might even use some regular equipment or only bounty equipment. Well, that's not going to be the case anymore. One thing's for sure is this is looking like the biggest patch in World of Tanks history. And Wargaming are being so bold. If any one of these 8 changes had gone into the game, it would have probably been considered to be a single patch of World of Tanks. Now, we've got a whole branch of Japanese vehicles, a completely changed crew system. We've got recon missions with dynamic cover. There's World of Tanks Plus, and there's also the return of game modes like Onslaught. This is absolutely outrageous. And realistically, I don't think the player base has enough time to be able to test all of these changes in the next 3 to 4 weeks. And also, with the test servers, Wargaming don't care about our feedback. This is just an opportunity for you to test things. World of Tanks is throwing all of these features into the game, whether you like them or not. And the only thing that we can really do is voice our opinion, and more importantly as well, vote with your wallet. And let Wargaming know whether 12 crew resets is really going to cut it, when effectively you are going to have to redo every single one of your crews. Anyway, ladies and gents, boys and girls, that was my first look at update 1.20.1, which is looking like the biggest patch in World of Tanks history. Really hope you enjoyed this video. Maybe I helped break it down for you. If I did, give the video a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. And stay tuned to the channel, as I will be doing individual videos on all of these different aspects, giving you all of the juicy details, in my opinion, and breakdown. And as always, well, firstly, look, we got a lot to talk about in the comments down below. Let me know what you think about this patch and everything that Wargaming has brought up here, or is going to be putting into the game. And it will definitely be World of Tanks as you've never known it before in about 3 or 4 weeks. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.